Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 13 of the Short Corner podcast. Everyone's here today apart from Joe, who's on a train to Edinburgh from London. So with Joe, he's either visiting family or he's part of some drug trafficking project. With Joe, you never know, but he didn't tell us why he was going to Edinburgh. But yeah, we'll assume it's family and nothing dodgy. But I'm joined by Naim, Rid, and Samir. Do you want to say hello?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So yeah, it's the first time we've done a Milan podcast, like exclusively Milan podcast for a while because of the Euros and stuff like that. But yeah, we've got a load of stuff to talk about today: transfers, renewals, betrayal, wonder kids, and yeah, just everything in between really. So we'll start off with the betrayal. Donnarumma has moved to PSG, has been confirmed on a free transfer. He signed there for 5 years and he's taken the number 50 shirt, which is the most retarded thing I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, I think you can see what I think of it. Does anyone else want to offer up their thoughts on this really? Yeah.
So guys, if you didn't know, Matt started supporting Milan because of Gigio. It's a lot similar to me supporting Milan because of Kaká. So he's a bit sad. You know, I can understand if he doesn't want to talk about the situation. So I'll be happy to break it down for you. So Gigio, I believe he was the highest paid GK in the league already before the contract negotiation started. I mean that's more than enough. If he keeps saying he loves Milan, if he loves Milan, you're making more than Chesney, you're making more than Handanovic and any other keeper that's already playing in the Serie A. You should be content with what you have. And Maldini, on top of that, offered a salary increase. So I don't know why he just didn't take that. Maldini said, "Hey, you can become a Milan legend like me." You right into his face, and Donnarumma is like a coward. He went behind Mino Raiola, like he hid behind his back, his fat back, and said, "Hey, I want more money." That's the first sign of greed right there. So that are my thoughts. He's greedy. If you're gonna say you love Milan, you're not showing that you truly love Milan, like Tonali and Calabria did. Good riddance, but good luck at PSG. No hurt feelings there.
I mean, I think all Milan fans pretty much the same view on that. The thing I didn't really like, I guess, is in his goodbye post, which I've got here. He says that sometimes it's correct just to go somewhere else and find new challenges to grow and stuff like that, which for me just doesn't make sense because, you know, if we didn't make it to the UCL and stuff like that, if again we came, I don't know, 6 or 7 or something, then I would be like, yeah, fair enough. You're just wasting your time here. But now we came second in the league. We are growing. Like, it looks like our team's getting better. We came second. We're finally back in the UCL. And you're going to PSG where, fair enough, yeah, they might have a challenge this year because last year, it was Leo who won the league on and PSG came second. And they've been trying to win the UCL for like forever at this point. It just can't seem to do it. So I get it. Yeah, there are some challenges, but is it really that much compared to what Milan is doing? Because if you look at PSG's team this year, they're just buying again everyone and no one's stopping them. So is it that big of a challenge? I guess moving away from the where you've lived for a decade and stuff like that, that in itself is a challenge, but that's fair enough. But in a football sense, I don't really see it. You know, he just, as Naim said, he just hiding the fact that he just wanted all that money, which is fair enough. I mean, we can all agree that he's the great goalkeeper. He has a chance of being honestly the best of all time. Like even these Euros, as an Italy fan, like he saved our ass so many times in the shootout. If it wasn't for him, we would not have won. Like I'm never gonna be like, no, he's shit. I'm glad he left. I'm glad he left because he doesn't represent the values of Milan and he just didn't want to be here. But at the end of the day, he didn't want to stay here. There's nothing we could have done. And with the money we've saved, we're making so many good investments that we needed. So as I said, good riddance. And it is what it is. So yeah.
Marco Verratti this week actually came out and said, "I'm happy Gigio's here and he's joining a club with Champions League ambition." I'm sorry, Marco, but ever since you've been at PSG, you've won the same number of Champions Leagues as Arsenal, and Arsenal have none. So I don't know what he's trying to say there. You haven't won the Champions League. So what ambitions are you talking about there?
They had the same ambition since last 5 years. It's never gonna happen, man. And I have 4 words for Gigio. great player, shitty person.
Absolutely.
Like I stopped giving shit about him since he said Maldini, like he does what Raiola tells him to do. Like if you can say that to Maldini, you are like probably one of the worst person ever. Like what the fuck? Like like make your own decisions, man. Like, and apparently he's gonna earn like 8 million in PSG with 2 million bonuses.
And he
So it
might not
looks like it
even
was
start, by the way, because obviously Kylian is there.
exactly. I think so. He probably left for Raiola, so Raiola could make 20 million in bonuses. So yeah, man.
It was all Raiola. He's not even making a significant amount more.
I mean, we all know how Raiola is. Like it's been years. He's always been like he's been a pain in the ass for our team for forever. Like there hasn't been a year that we haven't read the name Raiola and been like, oh fuck, say not this guy again. But at the same time, I wouldn't blame you on him. At the same time, he's your agent. You hired him. And if you really wanted to stay, you'd be like, listen, I don't like what you're doing. You're making this complicated. Either I don't want you anymore, or just calm down, okay? Stop eating the burgers, calm down, and let's get this sorted. But he didn't, so it's not really right. Also, just on the rumor, isn't it? Because if he wanted to, he could. That's a lot of things people say in a lot of scenarios. But if he wanted to, he could. Which kind of links to what Matt was saying. He's going through the break of emotions. So how are you feeling about that, Matt?
Yeah, it's just because I'm trying to put it into words. I'm still trying to rationalize it because, like I say, obviously I support Milan for so many more reasons now, but it was the original thing that got me into Milan as a goalkeeper and stuff like that. And you look up to him and stuff like that. And then it's like, in 2017 when you become blind to it when you like him that much, and when you see him as a Milan player and a really good goalkeeper, and that like you become blind to things that just are shitty, and like you pretend that it's okay and stuff like that because do you remember whenever Milan fans attacked him on his pride for Milan, he was like, I'll stay quiet. I won't say anything. I won't. Yeah, that's fine. And then the moment everyone started slagging Raiola off, it was yesterday, today, and forever, or whatever the saying was. And it's clear that. But the thing is, then in 2017, 2018, or whatever it was, you become blind to it, and you're like, oh, I still love him. He's a Milan player. He's a Milan legend. He's one of our best players. I'll ignore that behaviour. I'll ignore him like going against Milan and sticking up for his agent and seeing his agent as more important because he's renewed now. And since 2017 or 2018, again, we've put it off. All the talk of him renewing for like 5 years, and he's never done it. He's never like jumped at the opportunity to stay here forever. It's always been, oh, we'll see, we'll give it next year. Oh, we'll see if we get Champions League. Oh, how are we doing in the Europa League? How are we doing in Syria? And again, you become blind to it because you're like, he'll renew. He's fine. He'll bin off Raiola. He'll be a legend forever. And you put off all these signs that he's actually going to leave. And then when he does leave, you just feel shit, and you feel like a bit of a mug, really. You feel like you feel disappointed in him, but you feel more disappointed in yourself that you believed it could have ended any other way, if that makes sense. You believe that it was all going to be dreamy, and you believed it was all going to be like utopian, and then it ends otherwise. And yeah, you feel a fool for believing that a money hungry Milan fan and Milanista has left. And yeah, I am obviously disappointed. I'm gutted, but I think when the rumours were circulating at first and before it was officially confirmed, I think me and Samir, and I can't remember who was on the podcast, but Samir definitely was, and we were talking about how if it was like, when we used to get linked to Perrin and we used to get linked to Mere and stuff like that, we used to get linked to bad goalkeepers to replace him, I'd be even more gutted. But we've got the best goalkeeper in Liga. He won the league. He kept more clean sheets than Donnarumma, more clean sheets than Edison, Allison. We've got a good goalkeeper to replace him, someone who's here, and you see the money he's on. The money he signed for Milan on, it's probably like less than he's at Lille. It's definitely not way more than he was on at Lille. So yeah, the numbers that Mike Mignon signed for, I think it shows that he values Milan and he wants to be here solely for the footballing purposes. And yeah, he's someone who fits the club more than Donnarumma does. And yeah, it's a shame, but we've got to move on with our new goalkeeper who's not bad at all. So,
What's
yeah.
interesting about Mike Mignon is that he was ready to sign with Milan, and he knew the fact there's a chance that Gigio could stay. I'm pretty sure they got the deal gone through while Gigio was in the contract negotiation phase with Maldini, and Mignon agreed to the wages that Maldini offered to him. So I think that's a great character. We got a great keeper on our hands, and Mignon's hopefully will be good for us.
Well, from one snake to another, Chanalog will join Inter on a free transfer as well. I think for me personally with this one, I couldn't care less, honestly. I think I've been over Chanalog playing for Milan for so long, and I would have, if anything, it feels like it's a win for us because he's going to go to probably sabotage them with his playing ways. But I mean, besides that, I mean, I'm happy that he left, obviously. As long as we get a good replacement, our only number 10 currently is Kurnic, who's even number 10. So right now I'm like, what's going on? But I know we have to get number 10 at some point. So as long as there's someone decent, which better than Chanaloglu, which isn't that hard, then I'm fine with it. But the only thing I think similar with Donnarumma, like you don't just leave Milan and then just join Inter like that. And a lot of players have done it before. But I think he released an interview this morning or last night, and he was saying like he's done so many great things for Milan.
Mm-hmm.
What has he done? What has he done? Please help me out here. I can't find what he's done for us. I mean, yeah, he had that good few months post lockdown, which really helped us. Go a few places higher, which in the end didn't really do much because we didn't get UCL that year. But if you look at his stats over the 4 years he's been here, he has done nothing. So I don't know where he's coming from. He's a bit too full of himself, but who am I to judge? I mean, I don't think anyone, I mean, me personally anyways, I'm not going through the same thing with Gigio, where I was like, a part of me really wished that he stayed because obviously it's great with Chanalog. I'm like, finally.
A lot of Milan fans have been celebrating that Çalhanoğlu left. I'm one of them. I'm glad that Çalhanoğlu's gone, and it's just his ego. He has the ego of someone like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, but the ability of someone like I don't even know, Jamal Mesba, I would say. That's his ability, and Çalhanoğlu. He's a frustrating player, and like you said, there's stats. He has none of that. He has the chances created, but those are from corners and set pieces. On top of that, we have our eye test. On the eye test, he's just horrible. He's awful. He had the situation of Ibra yelling at him. I forgot what game it was. Just like he says, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like right to his face in front of everyone. And I'm glad he's gone. But I know for a fact that replacement that Maldini has lined up, he's going to be exponentially better than Hakan. Let it be Vlasic, let it be James, let it be Luis Alberto, who we're linked to this morning actually. So there's some good replacements out there.
Yeah, this one, like the Donnarumma one, it's a bit like you say, really, it's painful, but like you kind of understand it in a way, like PSG in terms of like maybe wanting to win the Champions League and money-wise, it is an upgrade for him in some respects. I do kind of understand it, but this Hakan one was just weird, isn't it? It's just like, I don't get it. Like, why does he want to like go to Inter so badly? Like, when they won the league and fair play to them, but like we're not miles behind them. They're not like PSG or they're not like Man City or something like that.
If anything, they're worse than last year because they're having to sell some of the players, sold Hakimi and stuff like that.
Exactly. And it's just like, why do Inter want him? And then I was speaking, do you know Noah? I forgot his out on Twitter, but he's from Canada and he's an Inter fan. And he was just like, if the thing to Eriksen didn't happen, they'd never sign Hakan. Like it would never have got signed. And I saw a quote from, I think it was Nocerino. It was either Nocerino or Massaro, but it was funny regardless. It was like he's given the performances of like a 2 out of 5 player, like 2 out of 5 star player, and he's asking for the world. And it's a weird one. And like you say, Naim, it's not going to be a massive loss. And whoever we get in, whether it's Sabitzer, Luis Alberto, Ilicic, Papu Gomez, someone like that, it's going to be someone who's a lot more consistent, someone who can lead a counter-attack, unlike Hakan. The amount of times you see Teo bombing forward and Calabria bombing forward, Ibra getting ready to make a run, and then you just pass to the opposite team, they all have to go back round and all go back to defend. And it's unlike Donnarumma, where it's like, oh, we've lost a good player here. With Hakan, it's almost like the burden's gone, like a weight has been lifted, and we can move on. And how many free kicks did he score for us after he was the free kick god at Hamburg and Leverkusen?
One or two.
I think talking about numbers again, he picked number 20 as well when he literally has a tattoo of a number 10 as well in his arm. So that's just another one.
We can talk about replacements. Actually, we can go down into like, who do you want Hakan's role for each of us, and why is that? So for me, other names that have been listed, I think Papu Gomez would have to be my number one pick. He's quality, Serie A. I think we'd all love the Papu dance in our locker room, and he's a lot better than Hakan. So for me, well, on top of that, I want to touch on a tweet that Joe made. Vlasic, a lot of us have not watched him, and that's true. We don't really watch Russian league. I think Matt and I have seen a bit of him at Everton when he was like 18 or 19. He's all right there, but we haven't really watched the Russian league much, so we don't know much about Vlasic. I'm just gonna touch on that, but you guys can talk about who you guys want as a Hakan replacement.
I mean, I want Sabitzer, honestly. I don't think he's the proper. He's not a number 10. I wouldn't say he's a number 10, but I definitely think he has the abilities to be a good number 10. And pretty sure he played most of the season last season as a CM, CDM, so not as a cam. So it just shows he can play in those positions if needed. And we're gonna touch on the AFCON later, but when Kessie Benasser missing, he could even fill in if needed. He's 27, so 27, 28. So compared to Luis Alberto, Ilicic, and Papu Gomez, he's a bit younger than them, so he probably has a few years. And he wants to leave. His price tag seems to be only around 15, 20 million, which I think is a deal. So that would be my number one pick. But I wouldn't mind someone like Luis Alberto, because again, or Papu Gomez, because they both know Serie A. They both play very well. They play very well, and they have experience, and they're better than Hakan. And in terms of Vlasic, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, I know. I really didn't know him till a few days ago when we were linked to him, but I trust Maldini and their scouting team. So if they think it's a good player, he's a good player. Because looking at the history, the only player that came to Milan, it was just terrible. It was like, Duarte. I think that was the only one who was just terrible. So I have trust in them. If they think they're good, I'll back them.
I agree with you, Rid. Sabitzer, I really do like him. I think I saw this, I can't remember the stat exactly, but a really high percentage of his goals are like from outside the box. And it's like, if you think about what we were promised with Hakan, he was going to be some like long range shot monster, and he was going to be getting assists and like really good goals and like really good goal and assist output. I think Sabitzer is that. I think and obviously we thought that with Hakan, and every transfer has the potential to go wrong. But I think Sabitzer, I think if you're looking, I'm not sure what the situation is and why Leipzig want to sell him for, or might have to sell him for such a low price. I think it might be something to do with his contract. But the price
I think he expires next year and he wants to leave, so they just want to sell him.
Yeah, so it's looking at like 20 million euros, 25 million euros, or even cheaper and stuff like that. So, I think for that price and that quality, I'd like him. I think he's less of a risk. I think you're talking, like, obviously I don't think Milan would invest this heavily, but like Damsgaard, we were linked to Damsgaard, and apparently even before his breakout of the Euros, we were kind of monitoring the situation. But you're looking like 50 million euros on a 19-year-old who's not even really like took the Serie A by storm. I think it's a bit of a risk, but I think with someone like say someone who's either knows the league really well, like a Luis Alberto and Ilicic or Papu Gomez, or just someone who's been doing it quite consistently for one of Europe's biggest clubs in Leipzig, like one of their, like, always in the Champions League, going far in the Champions League. I think someone like Sabitzer would be perfect. Samir, have you got any suggestions? Anyone that you'd prefer?
I think right now anyone over Hakan is an upgrade, like instantly, because like my thing is like we've seen this guy, right? We've seen his shit in Bundesliga starting off, when he joined us 2017. Like he has the ability, right, to pass, long pass, like shoot. I don't know, like what the hell's wrong with him? Like he lost everything. Like each year he loses like one of his skills. First year he lost his free kick. second year shooting. Now this year, like the fourth year, he can't even fucking pass. Like I don't understand. Like you should improve every year, right? Like this keeps on decreasing. No idea how it works, Like anyways, my honestly, I wouldn't mind anyone. I see like Milan Twitter like dying for Nikola Vlasic. Like no one saw him. I'm 100% sure. Like no one saw this guy.
Mhm.
And if you did, it was like years back. None of us watched Russian league. Like Naim watched him in Everton. Okay,
Yeah.
like last few seasons, no one saw him. I'm guaranteed. And I'm kind of scared because he has similar stats to Hakan when he was in Bundesliga or even Serie A, like similar types of the number of goals and assists. And that guy is in Russian league and Hakan is in Serie A. If you look at the stats, it's pretty similar. Like similar kind of goals and assists, both of them. So for proven, I would love, if you said dream signing, I would love Luis Alberto. But I don't think Lazio will sell him less than 50, 40.
Yeah.
And for like a cheaper option, one I can see happening, like Naim said, Papu Gomez. I would love Papu Gomez. He still, I think, has like 2 years left, like at best. So I would love Papu Gomez, or the other one is James Rodriguez. Like I really like the player. Like since 2014 World Cup, always wanted him. I know the problem with him is in his injury. He's really injury prone. But then the days he's fit, he's gonna every match gonna be a masterclass. And if you sign Brian Diaz, if Hamas gets injured, but Brian can play. So so if you can get Hamas within like 10 million or less, I would love him. And dream Luis Alberto.
I wouldn't take James, honestly. I think his injury history is just too bad.
That's the only thing that's stopping, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think he's a good player, but I think because of the way they play, our number 10 really so important. And we have seen with Hakan, as Matt was saying earlier, how many times has he wasted a counter attack. If you had a proper number 10 in those situations, then we would have done so much better. And having James in those situations would make our team better. But the thing is, if he isn't, then that's the problem. We don't have a number 10. I mean, Raheem, yeah, he's getting better, but I don't expect him to be playing most of the games of the season, because I think it's such an important position for us. That's why I want someone like Sabitzer or Luis Alberto, who we know he can do it consistently, will not get injured all season. Whereas with someone like Vlasic, we don't know what he can do. He hasn't been he has been consistent, but in the Russian league, he hasn't been consistent like Serie A or Champions League, like the likes of Papu Gomez, Luis Alberto, etc. have been. Whereas with James Rodriguez, the only consistent thing he's done in his career has been injured. So that's why I'm like, I'd rather not.
Same thing with Isco, really. I know Isco's been linked to us, but he's not that much of an upgrade over Brahim, I would say.
No.
The thing with James Rodriguez is like Samir said, when he's on his day, when he's like on form, he's 10 out of 10. Every time he plays, he's 10 out of 10 when he plays. But the thing is, with his injuries, his overall effectiveness balances out at like a 4 or a 5, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have someone like Sabitzer or a Papu Gomez, they might have a few games where they're like a 6, or like their average might only be a 7, but their average is a 7. Every single week you're getting a decent performance out of them. Whereas James Rodriguez, like think about it, Coppa Italia, Champions League, Serie A, if we're ambitious, we're going to be looking to play 50 games next season. And we need, like for a team that relies on a 4-2-3-1, a team that's built around a 4-2-3-1, the number 10 is essential. And I think that position, we need someone reliable and someone who's we can rely on. And the problem with James Rodriguez is he's not always going to be able to be relied on, which is a shame.
And we all know Zlatan is already going to be out for half of the season. We just know it. We just know it's going to happen. So we can't go into the season knowing that we're going to miss Zlatan. Yeah, half of the season is gone. And we can't risk having someone in the number 10 who's also going to be missing half of the season. We just can't have 2 injury-prone players in 2 of the most important positions, striker and number 10.
I think the Giroud medical is actually on that note. It's today. That's being scheduled for.
I mean, It's been meant to be like every day this week, but no one knows at this point when it's coming. But it looks like it's done. So
it's done. Maldini kind of said yes. So yeah.
What are thoughts on Giroud joining then?
Austin Giroud, I think he's a serial winner, World Cup
Yeah.
champion. His resume is there. He's a decent, good and more than good enough backup. His bicycle kick goal against Atletico, that was amazing. Like his technical ability, in my opinion, is up there for the Serie A. He's not the fastest, like the Premier League over fast. You need to be fast and physical. Serie A's way more suited for a player like Olivier Giroud. He's gonna be in the box and he's gonna score. Just nothing more to it.
Yeah, I don't understand why a lot of people are not happy with it. I think just touching back on injury, his injury history isn't very good. He hasn't been injured in ages, even despite his age. He can score goals. He's a winner, and he's more than happy being the backup. Like he's the backup at Chelsea. He's the backup in France. He looks like he's more than okay with not being the main guy, but being the guy when you put him in, you can rely on him and he will score the goals. And we getting him for like 1 million from paying 1 million at Chelsea. Apparently, the contract is not too expensive. It's only 2 years. So, as a cheap, reliable option, that's as good as it gets for me.
Yeah, I really like it, to be fair, because like you say, he's someone who isn't going to cause a fuss. He knows his role, and like you say, he relishes his role every time. Like one of the reasons I think Chelsea fans quite like him is he does cause a lot of havoc, like when he, like, in a good way, because someone like Werner, obviously Werner's not had a great season, but every Chelsea striker that's been there whilst he's been there, none of them have been able to be comfortable. Like Tammy Abraham, he was their top scorer last year, I think, or I think he until the late stage of the season. Like Tammy Abraham was their top scorer this season, and Werner, like obviously he had a lot of pressure on him with a big move from Leipzig, but Giroud's always there. And same with France. See how France's system fell apart this summer when Giroud wasn't there. And so I think he's a player that, as we're talking about, playing 50 games this season, I think you can rely on him. I think that you can rely on him in the sense that if he starts, he's starter quality. And if he's coming off the bench, or if he's on a rotation, or if he's playing cup games, or like league games against Venezia or Spezia or something like that, he's someone who can be relied on. And for so much experience, for the amount of goals and trophies he's won, and for the price that it is, and how similar he is to Ibra in the way that he's a tall player who can hold it up. He's capable of the spectacular. It's a brilliant signing for such a cheap price. So
and honestly, if everything goes wrong during a game, just put Ibra and Giroud and Zlatan in the box and spam cross for the last 10-20 minutes and we get a goal. So
no, he said he was the top scorer in the run that Chelsea had winning the Champions League.
Yeah,
so it's fantastic for $1 million. We got the top scorer of the UCL champs. They're defending.
Yeah, he always seems to perform in the UCL as well. He just has something when he goes in the UCL. So I think he is a great. Plus, Inter wanted him like 2 seasons ago, so that's a big win in my book. Anyways.
Yeah. Anyways, speaking about another Frenchman, we just signed a French left back from Monaco. I think Matt was talking about it. I'm not too versed on him, but Matt, do you want to take it off? Who's this guy?
Yeah. So I'm not gonna sit here and suggest I've watched every Monaco game this season, but I think this signing, as we're beginning to learn more about Paolo Maldini as a sporting director, I think this is such a Maldini signing. It's Kalulu-esque, it's Salamakers-esque, it's cheap. It's a player from from France, from Belgium, from that sort of France, Belgium, Benelux region, on a cheap, someone that's like high potential, someone that is eager to be part of something a bit more. I think at Monaco he's on the fringes, and Milan will be on the fringes, but he'll be, I don't know how to phrase this, but less on the fringes while still being on the fringes. With Monaco, he's getting nothing, but with Milan, he'll be playing Coppa Italia. He'll be playing those games where we're rotating in the league because we've got Real Madrid in the Champions League. So I think, it's a typical Maldini signing, a young player coming in as a backup who's eager to play, someone with high potential, and someone that he and Milan hope will get better, and in a few years' time will prove to be a bargain. And it's not something that's as exciting as maybe like Tonali being made permanent, or Giroud coming in. He's obviously not a Champions League winner, but I think another good young backup player. I think it's something to be it's a promising signing, and it means that we don't have to rely on like Calabria shifting to left back, Kalulu shifting to left back, or like relying on Laxalt and not being able to profit from Laxalt selling him. And yeah, I think with him it's a natural left back on the cheap. I think it's a good signing.
My thoughts on it are simple. If Maldini signs a young left back, I'm okay with it. He's going to be good. Like if there's someone who knows a good left back, I'm pretty sure it's Maldini. So I think we're good in that.
One signing that I think this is the last one that's like major in terms of it might happen. There's obviously all these rumors floating around like Insigne and stuff like that, all these like hearted rumors that you get every transfer window. But one that's probably the last one that's looking serious is Caio Jorge from Santos. I've kind of got, I don't know, I think Mark Galliani tweeted about it on Twitter, and it's about how basically he wished that I could see this happening now on Twitter, Caio Jorge, because I do kind of have a story about Caio Jorge. So basically on Football Manager, he's unreal. And I know that doesn't necessarily translate to him being amazing on like in real life, because Ravel Morrison was amazing on Football Manager, but like he is just your typical Brazilian wonder kid, I think. Like so, and I think he's obviously a lot earlier in his career than sort of like Giroud or Ibrahimovic, but I think he's someone again who could grow into that mold once he like fills his body out, if that makes sense. Like, see, when Lukaku started out, he was like a lot skinnier than he is now, and I think Caio Jorge is quite skinny. He's quite agile, quite slight, but I think he's someone who, he's only, I can't remember how old he is, like 18, 19, definitely not over 20. And I think that he's only got, I think because the way Brazilian seasons work, their seasons end in the winter, so his contract runs out in the winter. So it's either he's coming in the winter on a free, or coming in now for very cheap. And I think similar to that Ballo-Touré one, the Monaco left back, it's not someone who's going to set the world alight straight away, but I think it's good to be getting in these youngsters and planning for the future. So I don't know what Naim, Rid, or Samir, what do you think of a signing like that?
I mean,
it's Paqueta or something.
I think we can all agree that we needed a young striker that could grow with Giroud and Zlatan, and he's again a cheap option because, let's be honest, you're kind of broke. So again, probably the best you can get. And I haven't seen much of him. Don't know how good it is, but he's Brazilian. I mean, the last Brazilian signed is Paqueta, who didn't work out, but now we can see he's become much better. So there's definitely some talent in him. Probably is cheap, young, has potential to grow. And if you're a striker, Ibrahimovic and Giroud are probably the best ones. They can be playing along and learn how to score goals. So I'm all up for it. I would like to see what we're gonna do with Colombo, because he's a homegrown talent. He's big for his age. I don't know how he's younger than me and he's twice the size of me. I think that says more about me than him, to be fair. But I think because when he played last year, obviously he didn't play well, but there's definitely something. I think we might need to send him on loan again, but he's definitely someone I would like to see him play more, at least be kept or not being sold, so he can go on loan. But I want us to have ownage on over him, so him being a player get more chances, because I definitely think he's a good player.
On Caio Jorge, a young player is actually another player I want to talk about is Emil Robach. Robach impressed us last year in preseason, so. And I think Saturnian tweeted that, why are we looking for young strikers when we already got one? Well, I think Robach's quite good too. But Caio Jorge, if we do sign him, here's the thing with, like Rid said, Paqueta. Paqueta didn't work out. We thought he was bad, but thing with young players, they need time. They're not really supposed to have like an impact. Kessie wasn't great when first signed. So if we do sign Caio Jorge, we should give him more time than we gave Paqueta. Paqueta he had a phenomenal season and he played really well in the Copa. So I think if we get Caio Jorge, we can't just, like Milan Twitter so often do, this guy's shit, sell him, cut off his head, sell Kessie to Wolves, all that stuff. No, these players need time. Just how it goes. It's a new country, new language, new friends, and new everything. So it's my thoughts on Kyle George.
Samir?
Honestly, I hope he surprises me. Like I saw his YouTube highlights. He looks good. Has good touches. Pretty pacey, And as a third striker, I wouldn't mind, honestly.
Mhm.
Also, I wish we gave Colombo a chance. Like last season, he played 3 matches for us, and he scored 2 goals. He looked good, and he just says, like Rich said, Colombo has an amazing build, right? Like he has a Hulk type figure. So maybe I hope he improves. I hope we give him to loan to maybe a CI team, like that. Maybe Empoli, team like that, they can play him. And Kyle, he looks good. I wouldn't mind him. Apparently, we can get him for 1 million because his contract is getting over in January. So the reports are we're gonna get him for 1 million or get him for free on January. I hope we get him right now, so he can train with us. Yeah, it's a good signing.
Yeah. Speaking of young players, actually, guys, Hauge and Tommaso Pobega, we can touch a bit on that while we're on the topic of young players. So Jens Peter Hauge, I'm a bit sad about him leaving. I think he had more to offer to us. Well, I think Maldini sees it from a business point of view. If you can get 15, 17 mil for a player we signed for 3.5 mil, that's a good profit, and we can use those funds for our attacking midfielder or a right winger. So that's how he's seeing it, and I understand. But Hauge, I'm a bit sad. Pobega, on the other hand, that's pure plus Valenza. We're not even sure what his ceiling is. I'm sure Atalanta, who he's been linked to, will make better use of him. I'm not too upset over that one.
I mean, I think for both of them, we got preseason coming up. I think both of them at least deserve a chance to play in our system. We know what he can do, how good he's played in our system many times. He plays well. Whereas with Pobega, he isn't the holding midfielder there we play. He's in the number 10. He's like a Krunic. There isn't a position on our team that it's perfectly suited for him. He's for Mezzala. He's better plays in a three-man midfield.
Yep.
But I think he deserves a chance because he's homegrown. He's had a good season. He deserves a chance to at least play against Valencia, maybe Real Madrid. That's some of the games we got coming up as friendlies, and then after that maybe make decisions. I mean, ideally, in ideal world for me, they both go on loan. I think Hauge needs to play more because every time he's played well, and I understand why we want to make profit. And we have Rebic and Leao, in that side of the pitch, and it's very much unlikely they will be playing many games since we have so much competition on that side. We even got he even prefers playing Krunic on the left side if those are not available. So if I'm Hauge, I can understand why he's like, maybe I should be looking at some elsewhere. And if we sell him, then obviously I'll be a bit upset because I like him. He's a very good dribbler, and every time he plays, well, most of the time he plays, just shows up. In terms of Pobega, I think if we do sell him, we could probably get a good 15, 20 million in my opinion. But I think if we send him on loan for another year, and then maybe sell him, we can make even more. If by that point we don't want to keep him, because I think he can improve much more. Let's say he goes to loan at Atalanta for a year. I think it's going to be much better, and we can make so much money at that point, I think. But unfortunately, I don't think there's much space for him in our team, unless he can somehow play as a CDM quite well. Again, looking at AFCON coming up and Benasser and Casino being there for a lot of our most important games in January. If he can prove himself and be like, yeah, I can play, I can fit in those gaps, then I don't see why we can't keep him, because we don't have more CDMs currently. We need him. Our CDM problem is going to be quite bad, because I think the games we miss, the Casemiro are missing, going to be Inter, Juventus, and a few other ones.
Lazio.
And Lazio, yeah. So those are big games, and we need good players. So I would like to keep them both, but if they go out on loan or being sold, I understand why.
I think it can go one or two ways, kind of. You can either just spin them off and get the early profit, like how what you're looking at, like maybe 10 mil per Vega, 15 mil, or something like that. So it's 25 mil, which is good. It's good profit to reinvest. But then what you don't want to do is make mistakes that, like, like we sold Piscine and we sold Cristante, and those are two players that now we look at and we think, well, they've just won the Euros with Italy, and we had them, and guess who would be good backups for Kessie and Benacer and Tonali and stuff like that? Would be those players. So the thing is, I think you don't want to rush, but at the same time, you don't want to miss an opportunity to sell. So there's got to be a balance of, don't just get rid of them with no percentage of a sell-on fee, no buyback. You don't want to just rush them out of the club just for the sake of it, just to bring in, I don't know, like a Sabitzer or something like that. You don't want to just completely bin them off, but at the same time, you don't want to keep them around when there's a good chance to sell. So like Rid said, I think pre-season, get them in a couple of friendlies, give them the chance to impress. And yeah, I think that, like I say, I keep coming back to it. We're playing 50 games next season. You don't want to write off any players and say that they're not good enough, because it'll come to that February, March period when there's Copa games, there's Champions League games, hopefully, if we make it out of the group, and there's Serie A games. We're going to be needing a lot of players. So is there any point of looking at players from like around the world to fill these positions that we already have a Haug and we already have a Pabega in, who have both shown on occasion that they can do it in Serie A? So yeah, I think it's just about don't rush them out, give them a chance, and yeah, go from there. And if we do need to sell them and get some money in because we don't think they're good enough, fair play. And if they're good enough to stay and we can save the money and reinvest elsewhere, then yeah, that's good also. But yeah, just don't rush them out. I'd say that's my only thing.
I
Samir,
think the problem for me with Pogba is I think he doesn't fit a formation.
Yeah.
He's more of like a Krunic kind of player. They need the 4-3-3 to play. They're like a number 8. So like even if he stays, I don't know like where can he play. He's not like a natural CDM, nor he's a number 10, nor he's a winger. So it's like to make him play, really has to play 4-3, or I don't kind of see it. And as for Halke, I really want him to stay. Like I don't mind having 3 left wingers. Like knowing our injury luck, we might have like Rebic and Leo might get injured before Jan. I hope he stays. Like he showed a lot. Maybe he had like 2 stingers, and rest he was pretty good. I don't know what's wrong with Pioli. He Pioli keeps on playing Rebic or Leo, but I don't know, Castillo. Like Halke never got his chance. I don't know why. Like I feel like something has happened behind the scenes. Like something Halke did something, or like I don't understand. Like how can you see his talent still not playing? Like I don't get it. Like any guesses? Like what the fuck is happening?
It's like the Zaha Moyes situation. If anyone remembers that, Zaha, I think Man United fans wanted more playing time for him, but Moyes had like some issues with him, so it's probably something similar.
Yeah, because if you look at the performances of Haug, like that goal against Napoli to seal it, like just the pace down the wing and then just to chip it over the goalkeeper and in, like it's perfect, isn't it? And like to ability wise, there's nothing wrong with him. So yeah, it's a shame that it's just gone. And yeah. So it would be a shame just to see him go.
And then him scoring against Sampdoria, that potentially got us in top 4. In hindsight, if you think about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Just to go back on the hacker situation really quick, I just read, so Maldini had an interview with DAZN yesterday, where he said, yeah, Giroud is coming tomorrow, so meaning either today and tomorrow. About the one of the things that I just found interesting is he was asked, do you have an idea who the replacement of Tranag will be? And his reply was just no and nothing else. So obviously it doesn't really mean anything, because he's not going to be like, yeah, we're going to sign Sabitzer or something. But yeah, it's just quite interesting. And also, I think this also perfectly links to our next topic, is saying Kessie is the future of this team. We are working on his contract extension. Obviously, Kessie has only got 1 year left in his contract, and I think everyone wants him at this point. I think he's really shown how good he is this year. Like, he was incredible, and I think playing against Manchester United made it so even more people discovered him and how good it is. And we don't wanna. I mean, you could argue Kessie has been more important than Donnarumma this year for our team because of how much he's played, because of his position. But we don't want to come back here next year and be like, yeah, so Kessie had just signed for PSG on a free contract. Yeah, again, you know what I mean? So what's our thoughts on this contract situation? Do we think we will get it done? Because I remember in January, we all said that then Donnarumma and Çalhanoğlu will both renew, and none of them renewed. So what's our thoughts on that? Because I think we were a bit too optimistic with Donnarumma and Çalhanoğlu.
Yeah. I hope Kessie's on. We can't lose Kessie. He's a pillar of our team. He's captain material, and he's the core. He's the heartbeat of our midfield, I would say. We can't lose someone like Kessie. With Hakan, like Hakan's replaceable very easily. Gigio, like I know he's generational, but you can get like a decent keeper. But Kessie, my God, like he's made that role his own. He's massive, literally and figuratively. We have to get that done.
Yeah, I think, like you say, he's so important to the team. We look so much worse without him. Like you said, with Donnarumma, we've replaced him already. We've got Mignon, but to replace someone like Kessie, who's grown into the team, it's literally has been like a 4-year process, and now it's finally got to the point where he's integral. And yeah, to lose him, and like again, it would be on a free. So yeah, I think this one, get it done quick, early the better. And I think this is a sign now. We need to stop getting to a point where we've got 1 year left on players' contracts. Like, the best way to run a club, because not that I've got much experience doing it, but apart from on Football Manager, that you need to make sure that none of your players have like ideally less than 2 years left on their contract. Because if they do, if you've got a player with like less than 2 years, between 1 year and 2 year, they'll run it down for that 1 year. And as soon as you get down to that 1 year, that player's got all the power. He can ask for so much more money, for so many more benefits, so much more money and benefits. And if you don't offer them because you can't afford it, then guess what? Next summer he's gone. You need to get to a point where all the players you have want to be here. You need to be, for the important players like Kessie, like Calabria, maybe not Kier because he's a bit older, but yeah, all the important players who are approaching their prime and have still got loads of years left in them, you need to be getting them on 4 or 5 year contracts rather than just giving them 1 year extensions. Because if you keep giving players 1 year extensions, 2 year extensions, stuff like that, you get to a point where, it's just roundabout every single year. I would love a summer where we don't have a contract like problem with Kessie or with Donnarumma or Hakan, stuff like that. So yeah, with Kessie, he's so important. Just get it done this summer. Get him done into, what would it be? It'll be 2026, something like that. Just get it signed.
I think with Kessie, I highly doubt he'll ask as much as Donnarumma and have the whole Donnarumma drama we had with Kessie. He doesn't look like the type of person who would do it, and he doesn't have Raiola as his agent, and he doesn't have a big ego where he thinks he's the best player on the team like Çalhanoğlu did. So I think those factors will probably make his renewal easy, and everyone loves him. With Donnarumma and Çalhanoğlu, there's always been fans, I would say, that have not exactly been a great fan of them, regardless how good or bad they've been. Whereas with Kessie, I think everyone loves him because obviously he's just so consistently good. It's just not normal how good he is sometimes, given how much he plays as well. So I think his situation is easier, but if we don't get it done by the end of the summer, that's where I'll start getting a bit worried, because I'm like, why is it taking so long? With the Donnarumma situation, their contract renewal started January 2020, so a whole year ago. That was when the first report came out, and then nothing came out of it, clearly. And I really don't want the same thing to happen with this Kessie situation, where we come back next year and we're like, lost Kessie on a free transfer to Manchester United or something. So if it's not done by the end of this summer, then I'll be worried. I'll be like, why is it not done? Because he's not asking 10 millions or whatever. I think he was asking like about 4.55 million, which we can all agree he deserves
That's
because of the way he's played.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so if we don't give him that
Yeah.
and don't renew Kessie, who if you take Kessie away from our team, like we have no one else like him, and I don't think there's anyone else that we can afford out there that could even replace him. Like with Chan Logleg,
Yeah.
and as Naim or Matt said, he's not as easily replaceable as the other one. So if we lose him, then you're just taking a step down from this building thing that you wanted to do with this club. Because he's young, he's a
Yeah.
good player, and so
Yeah,
Nah,
exactly.
man, like we have to get it done. We have to get it done. Like this has to be the main thing.
Yeah.
Like before the like our season starts, we have to get this done. Or I'm gonna be worried the whole year because like if you look at Hakan's and Donnarumma's renewal, Maldini said, okay, it's okay, it's going good, blah blah blah. In the end, he lost both of them. I don't want the same thing to happen for KC or Romagnoli, He has to get it done, like no other way. Like if you're selling Romagnoli, okay, fine, but the KCA, it's a must. I don't think even with 60 million we can like find a player like him right now. Like no way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Actually, I
That's the
remember
thing.
it's interesting. I feel like he wants to stay. Part of him wants to. He's been at the club since 2015, and I feel like part of him he's just like I want to play Champions League with Milan since 2015, and hey, we're here. Might as well do it. I feel like part of him wants to stay, and that's a very good player to have still on the bench.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, we
that's the
can't.
thing.
We're talking about Romagnoli, right? I just
Yeah.
zoned off. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, we
yeah.
can't get rid of him because, as Matt keeps saying, we've got 50 games. You can't expect here and tomorrow to
Yeah.
play all of them. And let's say one of them gets injured, we don't want to see Gabby and Kalulu playing if we sell Romagnoli. We
Yeah,
can't
not
find
yet.
a good. We are struggling to find a central back now because we probably need another one. But if we sell Romagnoli, that means going into the market to find another replacement that we don't need, as we already have someone who's more than good enough and knows the league, knows the team. So selling him or even like swapping him with like the likes of Luis Alberto or whatever, I think would be a big mistake.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Like
the
I don't
thing.
understand why did like everyone turn against Romagnoli. He just had one bad season, right? Like 2
Yeah.
years back, 18-19 season, he was going head to head against Van Dijk, and now it's like he can't even start. People are saying Gabriel is better than him. I'm like, what the hell? Like just one bad
And
season.
he's had a lot of injuries this season as well. We can't just
Like
I think
exactly.
I think it was in the derby against Inter. He came back from injury, and the first game back was starting against Inter. I think. I think it was this season, wasn't it, or was the last season?
Yeah,
but either way,
This season,
yes, he's had so many injuries, and he's had one bad season. Not we can't sell him because he looks like he wants to stay. He's more than good enough to even be a star. Like if you take care, I think Tomori and Romagnoli work very well because one is right-footed, one is left-footed, one is very fast, one is more of a conservative defender. So I think they balance out very well, and he definitely has a space in the team. He's our captain. I mean, you could argue he doesn't deserve it now, but as a player, he deserves to stay. And selling him would just be so stupid, in my opinion. Yes, you swap him with Luis Alberto, we got the cam spot covered, but now we need to go out and look for a central back. We know Romagnoli, if he plays, he will put down performances. But if you sell him, that means looking for someone else. Is he good enough? Can we trust this new player? There's just so many reasons as to why if he wants to leave, then that's a completely different discussion. But it doesn't look like it does. So there's no point even considering selling him.
Yeah, as a backup option, and I think the only thing that I'd be concerned about is he shouldn't because he's captain and he's always carried himself well. But there was rumours that he felt like Pioli had done him over a bit by introducing Tomori into the team with Kier. And as long as that nonsense settles down and he understands that at the moment he is our third best centre back, and as long as he understands that and is willing to I don't see any problem with if he comes in when there's an opportunity, someone's suspended and someone's injured. If he comes in and puts in a string of performances that suggest that he's good enough to start and take Kier or take Tomori out of the team, I love Tomori and Kier, but like that's what we need when we're going into these. Like again, I'll come back to 50-game seasons and playing Champions League football. We're going to need a lot of players. If he's here, we've got someone who's because what you have what like we've said, if we sell him, we've got Tomori and Kier, and then we've got Danny, we've got Gabby and Kalulu. We don't want that. We want to have a middle ground. We want to have
got
who...
Caldara as well, but he looks like he'll be probably gone, so wouldn't really put him there.
Yeah, God knows what's going to happen.
Also, like, Kier will get injured. Like, it's going to happen. It's a given, right? When Kier gets injured, you don't want Gabriel to start in UCL against Barca when Messi is running, you know, like, he needs some experience. So definitely we need him. Like, I think we should renew his contract, to be honest.
Speaking of new captains, guys, who do you guys think will be the new captain now that Gigio's gone? Romagnoli's not starting. Who's going to take the armband before the match day one? I think that it should be Kier. I'm not saying it's going to be Kier, but he's a good show. Him, Kessie, or Calabria, probably the top 3 candidates.
Yeah, well, I think
go on, Mark. Yeah.
Oh, cheers, sorry. But yeah, I think there's 2 routes that Pioli can go. He can like literally take the armband off Romagnoli and say that you're not playing enough. We're gonna change the captain, or we're gonna have Romagnoli, who's gonna be like a club captain, and then there's going to be a team captain, which is going to be the one on the pitch. And I think club captain should remain as Romagnoli, but yeah, Kier. I think we spoke about it a couple of podcasts ago that it was maybe in dispute with someone like Kessie or Calabria or something like that. But I think Kier, he's approaching his final years. You saw his leadership with Denmark. You've seen his leadership as a non-captain for Milan. I think, yeah, Kier is as safe and I think he's the premium choice for captain. And I wouldn't be surprised that Donnarumma gone, Romagnoli sitting on the bench, that Kier's leading us out. Yeah, against first day of the season, Sampdoria. Yeah. I think that'll be good, and I don't think anyone will have any complaints about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should keep Romagnoli as a captain. I mean, as the official captain, you could say, because just stripping him of the captaincy just wouldn't make any sense. You know, he's already not playing as well as he did, and he's not starting. So just going up to be like, "You've been terrible this year. Let me take that back." Would just be so counterproductive, in my opinion. So I would agree with Matt. I think Romagnoli has to stay the captain, but as the team captain, I would say
copyright.
Yeah, we're gonna get flagged down somewhere. But yeah, as I was saying, I wouldn't mind Kier. I think at this point, I don't really mind who's the captain, because we have seen, even though Donnarumma has been the captain, the real captains on the pitch have been the likes of Ibrahimovic, the likes of Kier, even Kessie, you could argue. I don't think Kessie I don't think he's as vocal as the likes of Kier and Ibrahimovic, which is not a bad thing. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be captain, but I think whoever at the end of the day is given the captain band, it won't really matter, because we're lucky enough to have the likes of Kier, the likes of Ibrahimovic on the pitch who are captains themselves. We've seen Kier being pretty much the captain of the defense ever since he came in. I mean, I would give it to Kier. By the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because we're blessed to have players who are just basically the captains regardless.
Samir, you pick for the armband.
Like everyone, it has to be the Kier or Kessie. Kier is like the more vocal type. Kessie's, like he never really shouts. I've never seen him shout. He's very. So I think I'll prefer Kier. Like he has shown during these Euros that he is a real captain. Like without the armband. So him with the armband would be perfect. Also, guys, I think we missed it. I think Pioli said 2 days back that Romagnoli is still our captain, and they're gonna choose like second captain or third captain. So I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, Matt said, on-field captain and off-field captain.
Yeah. So in that way, I would want Romagnoli, Simon Kier, Calabria, and Kessie.
Yeah, I think it's going to be similar to at Leicester, what we have at Leicester. Like Morgan's the club captain, he's like the club ambassador, Wes Morgan, and like if a new player signs, it'll be like, here's Wes, he's the captain, he's been here years, he's a dinosaur. Do you remember him from 5 years ago when he was good? But then you have your on-field captain, which is Kasper Schmeichel, who's going to be the guy who, when we're down 1-0 and we need to come back, he's going to be rallying the troops. And yeah, that sort of thing. There's two types of captains. And yeah, I think Romagnoli's going to be that guy who's, going to be boosting morale and going to be in team meetings as a captain and stuff like that. And then, on field, we're going to have a Kier, Calabria, Kessie. And yeah, I think that makes sense. And I think Pioli will go with that. And yeah, like I said, no one will have any complaints, really.
And the last topic, I'll let Matt kick it off, is the signing of Tonali and the Calabria renewal, which were done the same week.
Yeah, so Calabria renewal, I think that's just everything the opposite to Donnarumma. I think quick, efficient. I don't know the figures salary-wise, but I don't assume he's asking for like a triple of wages. He's got a job done. He's a Milanista. He's from Lombardy. He knows the club and he's renewed. And I think with Kessie, when we're looking at someone like Kessie, he's got two options. He's got the Hakan and the Donnarumma route, or he's got the Calabria route. So, and hopefully with someone like Kessie, he'll take the Calabria route, quick and easy, done by the start of the season, and he's here for the long term. And yeah, I think with Calabria, there's always been a bit of like debate about Dallo or Calabria, and I think with Calabria, it wasn't like a burst. Actually, like someone like Donnarumma, he was on the scene and he was our like number one goalie at 16. Whereas Calabria's had to work for a bit. Like he couldn't get in over De Chilio, he couldn't get in over Abate and stuff like that. But yeah, he's broken into the team now. He's I'd say, undoubtedly starting right back. And yeah, how's everyone feeling about Calabria renewing? I'm personally, very happy with it.
Calabria is the opposite to Gigio, if anything. If Gigio is the night, Calabria is the day. And he's always said, I love my club. And he showed it. He's like, even on his worst days, he's shown he's determined to fight for his spot. He's always out there giving 100%. He's had his best season in terms of goal scoring as of date. So I think it's a good deal, and I think if anything should get the armband. Like if he wants to be the captain, down the road, maybe not now, maybe post Kier, post Kessie, I think he's the guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Samir,
no, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think Naim and Matt, you've covered the. We got Gigio and we got the likes of Calabria. I think Tonali even took a wage cut to sign for us, which is literally the opposite of what Donnarumma has done. So you can see who actually cares about the team and shows it, and you can see who says they care, but then doesn't really show it for action. As a lot of people say, actions speak louder than words, and that's the same proof. And I think it's just quite funny how like Donnarumma and Hakan left like that, and then a week after Calabria and Tonali just signed the way they did, just a bit ironic. And then I think Tonali used the same caption as Gigio used a few years ago. So I just love it. Yeah, I just love it. But yeah, just before we wrap up, half an hour ago, it was announced that not announced, but the Brahim deal is pretty much done. It's a 2-year loan with no buying clause, so you just dry 2-year loan, which 3 years Brahim just plays for us for free, so can't really complain about that. So looks like we now actually have a number 10, probably not our starting one, but it's better than having Krunic playing against Real Madrid in a few weeks. But anything else you want to add?
Yeah, just loan wise, I think that Tonali, I think we're beginning to see now that the people who are always going to stay, if that makes sense, Tomori, Tonali, Brahim, and then it looks like Dallo, unless we pay something silly like 30 million for a backup fullback, he's not staying, and same with Metier. It doesn't look like he's staying either. And I think we should all be very happy. Like you say, Tomori sorted, that's good. Tonali sorted, that's good. They're like our more premium ones. And Brahim, like we're saying, he's a backup, but the thing is, last season he outperformed Çalhanoğlu. Think about that Juve game away, he was on absolute fire. And
the last 5 matches.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So for last 5 matches of the season, he outperformed our starting star marquee centre attacking mid Hakan. who deserves all the money in the world apparently, and deserves to be a Champions League winner. But yeah, I think that, like you say, I think we're only paying wages for him. So yeah, it's just like signing a player for 3 years and him going. And yeah, I think that with Brahim, it's a good option. And like you say, he'll probably be a backup, but as we saw at the end of last season, he's a very reliable backup who, when given the chance, does provide. And I think it's with the loans that we've redeemed, we had like 5 people on loan last year, and the 3 that we've signed are good, and the 2 that we've not signed, I'm not that bothered that we've not signed them. I don't know what anyone else thinks, but I'm indifferent to them staying or leaving, Dallo and Mete.
Yeah, I know, guys. Brahim Diaz could be absolutely shit for all I care about. For that goal on over Chiellini's head on Juventus, I'll never forget that goal in my life. I'll never forget that goal. He has a place in my heart just for scoring that absolute dollar. My God, what a goal! But
and like the way he ran to Pioli, I was like, damn, man, like father-son relationship. You know what I mean?
It's passion right there. So yeah, Mete, I think we all agree there. He's not good. He's not the worst. Just like he's just there. Like Matt said, we're indifferent to it. I don't know if you guys have any different thoughts on Mete. Dallo, for the right price, yeah, but other than that, I'm sure we could find better left backs out there.
Yeah. I think just to touch on the Mete situation, I think we haven't redeemed him. He's not coming back, but we definitely do need another CDM, especially again mentioning AFCON and everything. It is definitely a position that we can't overlook, even though we're all looking for cams. Our CDM spot, we have only 3 CDMs, and we need at least 4, if not more, because of AFCON coming up as well. And our 2 best CDMs are both going to be gone. So it is definitely something that the management has to look as soon as possible.
Bakayoko, maybe? What do you guys think?
You see, if you asked me 2 years ago, I'd be like, yes, like no thoughts about it. But looking at how he's played with Napoli and everything, he hasn't found the form he had with Milan.
Yeah.
Depends on how much. If you get it for like 10 million even, maybe yes. I mean, he wants to come back, it seems like. So maybe I would take him, maybe, if you can't find anyone else. But yeah, it's a maybe for me.
He's on his last, like Matt was saying, he's on his last year of the contract. They have to sell Bakayoko now, or they risk losing him for on a free, and they paid 40 mil or something, like quite a bit for him. So he's going to be going somewhere this summer for sure.
Yeah, I think
I wouldn't mind him. I feel like he's better than Mete, so I wouldn't mind him. And you can clearly see he likes us, he loves us. Every time we're having a big match, he's always on Instagram, like you see his stories. Yeah, he's always watching us. So I wouldn't mind him. But then I think we need someone who can like really fight when Kessie and Benacer leave for Egon. We can't really have Tonali and Bakayoko against Lazio, Juventus, Atalanta, Roma, whoever we face. Like, it's gonna be a massacre, man. So I don't know.
It's better than Tonali and Krunic for sure. I think Matt's going to say something about Bakayoko, right?
Yeah, I was just going to echo what Rid said about he's a good backup option, but don't want like Chelsea. They're always doing that thing, aren't they? Like, oh, we signed him for like 25, we want 40 for him just because he plays for a year. Like, we want him. I think we all agree that when he's playing for us, he's amazing. When he's playing for Napoli or Chelsea, he's just awful. And there's like no in between. It's really weird. Just when he comes to the San Siro, when he's in the red and black, he's just. I think he saw it. I think he likes the colour red and he hates the colour blue, because at Monaco and Milan he's been good, and at Chelsea and Napoli he's not been. So maybe there's something to that. But yeah, get him on the cheap, get him 5-10, maybe pushing towards 15 million, maybe. But yeah, I don't think we should break the bank for a backup player. And if it all works out and Chelsea are willing to be reasonable, then fine. If not, there'll always be another target. And I think the final topic that we wanted to cover, we've been alluding to it throughout the podcast, but it is the fixture list that got announced yesterday. So I think the first few things we need to look at is like the opening game, opening couple of games to get off to a good start. So it's 2 games where we should expect to win. I think we've got Sampdoria and then we've got Cagliari. But then we've got Lazio and Juve. So like opening 4 games, it's a bit it's not an ideal start because you'd like just 6 easy games straight away just to start the season off, but that's like never going to happen. So yeah, I think we need to get those points against Sampdoria and Cagliari early on, and then that means against Lazio and Juve, maybe there's room for a point or something like that. Looking at the end of the season, when it's going to be the run-in. A few difficult games to be fair. So we've got Genoa at home. We all know against Genoa something bad's going to happen. There's going to be a hat trick from an ex-Milan player. There's going to be own goals, red cards, players on the bench being sent off, managers being sent off. There's like Genoa are probably going to sack their manager midway through the game. There's always something in that game. And then Lazio away, which is difficult. Fiorentina at home, we should be fine. Hellas away, it's always a tricky one, but we should scrape through. But then the last 2 games of the season, I just hope that whether we're going for the Scudetto or whether we're going for top 4, I hope it's sorted because it's Atalanta at home, and then it's Sassuolo away. And Sassuolo, like they're growing. Obviously, De Zerbi's left now, but they're always a tricky team, and we just need to get off to a quick start against them like we did last time with a goal after 6 seconds, which would be ideal. But and then the thing midway through the season, the games that Kessie and Benacer, our midfield duo, are going to be missing because of AFCON are going to be Roma, Venezia, Spezia, Juve, and Inter. So that is 1, 2, 3 like very big games: Roma, Juve, and Inter, and then Venezia and Spezia. I think they'll be fine. We'll be fine against them even without Kessie and Benacer. But yeah. The African Cup of Nations, there was a couple of years, I can't remember if I'm remembering right, but I think when Benacer won Player of the Tournament, it was in the summer that year.
It was in the summer, yeah.
Yeah, but whenever it's in February, January, it's always a pain, and that's what we're on about this whole podcast. That's what we've been alluding to. When it comes to these points where we're going to literally have over a month without key players, we do need good, strong backups against the likes of Juve, Inter, and Roma. So, yeah. What are your thoughts on the fixture list? I think it's like last year, because I think what we've had before is we've had periods where we've had like 8 easy games in a row, and then we've had Juve, Napoli, Lazio, Roma, Inter, something like that. But last year was good. I think that was similar to this year, where we've got a tough game, an easy game, and it kind of balances itself out quite well. So yeah, what are your thoughts on the fixture list that came out yesterday?
I think it's pretty balanced, except January. January just murder. We're gonna die. Like I'm telling you now, we're gonna die. We're gonna have 0 points or something. It's gonna be like hell for us, honestly. But overall, it's pretty balanced. We have like 2 easy teams, 2 hard teams, 2 easy teams, 2 mid-table teams. It really balances out. Honestly, I'm kind of scared of is our seasons, like our second last match is Atalanta. I am scared again. Like it's like never goes well against them. We know how it goes last season, so I'm really scared. But I feel like the hardest part is January. It's really gonna show what we made of January. Overall, I like it. It's pretty balanced. Rid?
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to agree with that. I think it's not the worst, it's not the best, but obviously it's never going to be ideal. Having Juventus and Lazio, especially back-to-back, isn't the best, but I'm okay with it. I think my biggest worry, as with everyone, is with the January, the AFCON timeline, given that we're going to be missing Kessie and Benacer. We've shown this season that even without Benacer, we can still play quite well with Tonali and stuff. But, we've been sucking off Kessie this whole podcast, and I'm going to do it again because he's literally our most important player. And I would like to have Kessie against Inter and Juventus because those are two of the toughest games of the season. And that's my biggest worry. But if we can have a good enough backup, obviously we're not going to have someone who's going to be as good as Kessie because we're not going to break the bank for a backup or find someone just as good as that. So obviously, as long as we can find someone who can put a good shift in those games, then I'll be okay with it. But I think it's a good, especially with the new system that introduced. So the second part of the season is not mirroring the first part of the season. It's a completely different thing, which is new and interesting. I like it. But yeah, I'm okay with it as long as we get some good players. That's my conclusion.
Why is it always Atalanta at the end of the season? Like they just try to traumatize us intentionally. Always Atalanta at the end.
Yeah. We're okay to wrap it up. I think we've covered everything on
Yeah.
Good episode.
Yeah, lovely
guys,
stuff.
I have one last thing. Have you guys heard the Hakan interview yesterday?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
yeah, like the reporter asked him, like, did he talk to Ibra before leaving? He said, Ibrahim told me in it. He said, I was at the Euros and he was on vacation, like fixing his knee injury. We didn't spoke since. So you think he's
was he at the Euros? I didn't see him. Was he?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Couldn't find him.
What's wrong with this guy, man? Like damn.
How are you taking slide shots at Zlatan Ibrahimovic? His nose is literally bigger than your entire career. Like
dead ass. Like, man.
Oh
yeah.
He's Hakan's not spot.
Zlatan's gonna elbow his head off next derby.
I mean, he bullied him. I think ever since the incident with Zlatan's shoulder, he was like, "Yeah, I'm out."
Yeah.
Hakan tried creating a revolt in the dressing room. He got everyone to unfollow Ibrahimovic. What a little child.
Yeah, man. Give Ibrahim his PS5 back, bro.
Yeah, might as well, man. But
yeah, we can wrap it up. It's good.
Yeah,
cool. Lovely stuff. So, everyone, thanks for watching. It's been episode 13 of the Short Corner podcast. First, exclusively Milan one for a while, and it's been fun. But get ready for the what's the word? The inevitable depression of next season. We're full of hope now, but give it till October, November, and we won't be smiling as much as we are now. Gone through a lot of stuff: transfers, contract renewals, people leaving, people joining, fixtures, and we'll be back soon. Hopefully, we'll all be back, maybe with a guest. I think Justin. I think he came in on after the 3-0 loss to Inter. Last time, and he's a great guest. So hopefully he'll be back with Joe next time. I'll have a full house to maybe not like next week because we don't know how much things might change. We might be repeating ourselves a bit too much. But as soon as we get some fresh transfer news and things to develop in, we'll be back with another podcast. So thanks for watching. Been episode 13, and like, subscribe, and follow us on Apple and Spotify and stuff like that. And see you next time. Forza Milan.
Forza.
See you guys.
See ya.